Monday because people constantly send in Temur decks and they're almost never good. So I'm assuming that this has to qualify under the it's certainly not good category. Yeah, I liked all the bridges in the main and the incursion in the sideboard, Jekyll Girl. I think that's a good way to set that up. I'm gonna mute myself off and I'm gonna eat these Pop-Tarts. Launchpad GG. Thank you for that brand new Twitch Prime support. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. What's going on, Jet? Hope you feel better. What flavor Pop-Tarts? These are actually weird split Pop-Tarts. They are half strawberry, half cheesecake. I'm gonna be greedy and keep this, because why not? I need to highlight what is possibly the most American comment I've read in a long time. Have you ever put butter on a Pop-Tart? Good Lord. My first thought when I read, have you ever put butter on a Pop-Tart? Is, do you know how many calories are in Pop-Tarts already? But then my second thought is, God, that sounds delicious, and butter and Pop-Tarts are both great. I feel like we're about to be very sad about this roast. I feel like this roast is about to not have a text box. Because specifically, the text box on roast says, hey, can't hit creature without flying. Smells like Bant Spirits again. We'll find out here when they play Cavern. Spirits again, yep. Bolt was a great draw here for their spell queller, obviously. Get that sweet, sweet auto pass value in. I guess Baby Jace is technically Jace Bellerin. I've watched plenty of Family Guy in my lifetime. We watched a lot of The Simpsons growing up as well. Alright, Anger seems fine. Abrade seems fine. Roast and Mana Leak seem pretty terrible. None of the rest of cards on my board seem very good. I guess Baloth is okay. What do we think of? What do you think of this configuration? I don't hate Miser Dispel. I kind of like that. Like, I almost never want to draw two, but one seems fine. Yeah, sure, let's do it. This one lander has blue mana for the Serum Visions at least. I am not planning to stream more Legacy in the foreseeable future. Maybe we'll revisit it after the Pro Tour. Like if the Pro Tour has some sweet decks come out of it, maybe we'll revisit it then, but for the foreseeable future, modern content is popular as ever. More demand for it, and I enjoy playing it more. I'm gonna bottom that. We really need lands. Yeah, there's 8 cantrips and our curve stopped to 3, Mathematic. So I think the land count is fine. This is the first Pro Tour in a very long time that's had Legacy involved. That's what I think 2 extras. Let me rephrase. I think the decks at the Pro Tour that won't just be Brainstorms and cantrips will be people that from countries that couldn't afford Brainstorms and cantrips. I think there'll be a non-zero amount of players that play in the Pro Tour who come from places that have like low income that can't afford to play the good decks, but people that can afford them will be playing the good decks. It's not about income bracket over their country capitalist peg. It's about the supply of no Legacy cards. If you have money, you can buy things from other countries. It is 100% about income. And I'm not putting people down or I'm just being realistic. I know there are some people out there who are obnoxious that are going to put that off as me being rude, but that's just the truth. There are people in countries that have a lower cost of living than we do that just genuinely can't afford to spend $5,000 on a Magic deck. Get out of here. Capitalist pig. All right, what am I doing here? I've got a couple of choices. Do I want to just anger? Yeah, Brian, you should move them. Leading up into the PT will probably be the highest demand they ever have. What is this deck actually trying to do? Flip Jace, Vryn's Prodigy for value, and then cast. They didn't have anything to play. That's weird. Yep. Lower cost of living generally means lower average income. They have Reflector Mage in their deck. That's interesting. I'd love to draw a green fetch land here, or just a fetch land, so that way we can go Tracker into Hootie. Kids. The one thing in life that's more expensive than Legacy. You said that you don't see that people having a lot of stuff of a limited supply is not like stealing from the community. That's not what I said at all. I'm just gonna time you out for that. Don't misquote me. One of my biggest pet peeves that people on the internet do constantly is they put quotation marks around things that aren't fucking quotes. Sorry. I'm gonna work on swearing less, but I've been swearing casually for a very long time, and it's gonna take me a while to work it out of my vocabulary. Quotation marks mean something. They're supposed to mean that the person that you're quoting actually said those words. Words and things like that have meanings. Feeling pretty dead here. Yeah, I know the top card of my deck is a land. Capitalist pig, yep. Need some flame slashes. Vryn's Prodigy might be too cute. I don't know. I mean, it would have been really good there if it didn't get Reflector Maged. And I feel like Vryn's Prodigy is like a target for removal. And like, we have a lot of cards that are removal targets. So like, eventually we'll get a threat to stick. Here, Tick, just anywhere is a private message. Whisper on Twitch or Discord is preferred. Twitter as well. ASN seems great. Nimble Obstructionist has been really great in that deck. Look, no numbers. We've been super impressed. So what you have to remember is that Thought Scour increases the virtual count of spells we're going to see every game. So while we don't have a ton of actual spells in the deck, we only have like 19 or 20, I believe. Thought Scour lets us see them more consistently. Mick Benny, thanks for re-upping that Twitch Prime for a second month in a row. Thanks for keeping me employed here. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Nope. I don't think the deck that has 4 Mutavaults in it already wants another colorless land in the mana base. Hot takes. Hot takes! Don't want more colorless lands in my Mutavault deck. Don't want another Jace. I think I'll take Hootie. Hootie conveniently survives this Anger of the Gods. Next week, I plan to close out with Blue-Red Fae every day, Draven. I'll probably play it once more this week, but next week's going to be every day. Probably excluding Monday, though, because that definitely doesn't qualify as a meme. What's going on, Lantern? It's kind of this really terrible rite of passage in the Magic community. It's basically what it is. I'm gonna play this before they can Spell Queller it. If they Path to Exile this is fine. What's going on, Titan Rising? Welcome to a live one. If they play a Lord or a Geist here, I'm gonna Anger next turn, but like having to Anger away my own tracker is not a big deal when it generates 2 clues. And one of Jace to make it qualify for Meme Monday. It's funny how close that is to just being reasonable. Think I need a timeout just to enjoy the afterglow? I got you, Jackal Girl. Fair warning, I'm going to start aggressively timing out people who want to shed light on he who must not be named. People that create hate for clicks live to be talked about. It's the only reason they do what they do. So, just don't talk about them and you'll make them sad. Zero Forever with the big 5-0 donation. Thank you very much for the generous support as always. Let's read our wonderful message here. You need to learn how to play JAC better your way. Thanks, Perfect Zero. Happy to get that added back into the queue. They do have the option to flash Selfless Spirit here. So what I want to do this turn, I think I want a Jace VP. Awesome, Zero. Yeah, I'm really happy with that latest build. So, I can Jace plus Hootie here. I think that's what I want to do. Like, Jace plus Hootie. Do you bring in Alpine Moon against Blue-White to turn off Colonnade? I don't know. I think you're supposed to bring in at least 1 and possibly 2. You definitely don't bring in all 3 if you still have 3 in your board. I would accept that 1 is probably correct. I don't think I ever want to draw 2, but Colonnade's annoying enough that I wouldn't mind seeing the first one. Stop massacring the innocent. Who said they're innocent? Spirit of the Labyrinth. Well, Vryn's Prodigy and these clues just got a whole lot more awkward. Ah, you gave me a clue. Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna Anger next turn for sure. If they have Selfless Spirit, we're just dead. Can you permanently ban Elfalicious there? That's their second time saying something like that. So, mods, feel free to make that one stick. Please and thank you. God, we're dead to... pretty dead to Queller as well. Don't go breaking my heart. Couldn't if I tried. Do 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 do. Queller's actually better for us than anything else, right? Yeah, I get to crack a clue on their turn here at least. What's going on, Rowie? Good morning. That's true. I can go crack a clue on their turn and then crack a clue on my turn, not to draw a card, but to make it survive anger. That's true. If we draw a land, I can click them to try and clear it out. We get 2 shots at a land here. Bolt's also a pretty good draw, because it means I can bolt the Spell Queller in response to anything funky. Yeah, click with Spirit of the Labyrinth is actually a combo. That's unfortunate. Alright, so now we need to draw a Bolt. I think we're drawing dead at this point. Anger and then in response, Bolt. Yep. We missed on Bolt, though. So we're dead. Spirit of the Labyrinth was kind of a beating. Depending on how they attack, we might get another turn. But if they attack with just like all 3 of their flyers, we're dead. If they attack with just 1 flyer for the Exalted triggers, we get another turn. Clue into Bolt on their turn does let us survive if they attack with all 3. So if we draw Lightning Bolts here off this clue, we can survive. I can't draw extra cards, Burgle. I can only draw 1 card per turn. My timeout for this Monday, Rowie. Thank you for the bits. I appreciate it. Spirit of the Labyrinth really got us well there. While we're waiting for the second match in this league to pop, I'd just like to thank everyone for hanging out here today. Welcome. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer, memer, content producer here on Twitch. I'm here streaming Magic 30+ hours a week. If you're enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are quite literally the folks that keep me employed. They're the reason that I'm able to be here day in and day out. You can also support my stuff by supporting some of my very wonderful sponsors. MTGOtraders.com. I'd love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you. If you use code Hoagland PayPal at checkout with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. Honey would love to save you some money. Honey is a free browser add-on that when you install it using the link bit.ly/HoogleHoney, you'll be supporting my content here at no cost to yourself. What Honey does is quite awesome. When you're shopping online, Honey takes a look at the things that you're going to be buying anyways in your shopping cart and searches online automatically for coupon codes. And when it can save you some money, it offers you the coupon code. And when it can't save you money, it leaves you completely alone. You can also support my content by checking out Lisa. Lisa would like to get you on your way to a better night's sleep. Christy and I have been sleeping with Lisa for the last 6 weeks now, and we quite enjoy it. It's our first time having a foam mattress as opposed to traditional pillow top, and I don't think we'd ever go back. You can check out links bit.ly/HoogleBedUS and bit.ly/HoogleBedCA to save $160 or more on your new foam mattress with Lisa. And of course, I'd like to welcome everyone to Hoaglandia. Please talk to your friendly neighborhood moderator about receiving your complimentary timeout. At any rate, we're 0-1 to start this league with our Temur Midrange deck. Took a close loss to Spirits there in that last one. Spirit of the Labyrinth really messed up our deck full of ways to draw extra cards. It seems pretty good. We've got a Lightning Bolt to be interactive. We got a Goyf to start beating down. Got an Engineered Explosives for a touch more interaction. Tireless Tracker is a source of wonderful card advantage. Yeah, I agree, Mr. Maple Syrup. Reach is pretty important. If Lisa stops sponsoring me, will I stick with their mattress? Yeah, I don't intend to buy a new mattress. When I said so for people that aren't familiar with sponsorships, I didn't buy the Lisa mattress. They sent it to me for free as a product sample. And after I had used it for, I think it was 5 weeks. Yeah, 5 weeks. They said, is this something that you like? Is it something that you're using? I was like, yes, this is something that I like, and it's something that I am willing to promote. So all the products that you see on stream are things that I use myself that I'm willing to promote because I think that they are good products. Jeff, I've read your primer on JAC a couple of times now, and I was wondering if you have any suggestions on sequencing with cantrips. There isn't really cut and dry, easy way to explain the sequencing with cantrips. The answer is that it depends wildly based on what types of things you're doing. This is a Mack Weldon shirt, and that's a good example. My Mack Weldon campaign has ended. I'm no longer advertising for them officially, but their clothing is great, and I plan to continue wearing it. It really depends on what you're looking for, how much mana you have, what other cards you have, what your sequencing is. Like, people often look for cut and dry, you should always do this answers when they're playing Magic. And the reason why Magic is such an interesting game is because those cut and dry answers don't exist in a lot of situations. The answer most of the time in Magic is, well, it depends what else you have going on. Engineered Explosives looking Dece plus here. Deal. I'll take the solid 2 for one of the Tarmogoyf there. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just play out this Explosives for 1 here. I don't see a whisper from you, Amethy. This flips on 5 cards, right? So that's sweet. So we get to go ahead and I'm going to play Tireless Tracker. Should I take Teferi's Cannon Tindy? I don't know. Do you like sweet, clean fun? If the answer to do you like sweet, clean fun is yes, then yes, you should take Teferi's Cannon Tindy. The answer to that question is it varies from sponsor to sponsor and what they're looking to get, tech line. Let's loot with this. And now I get to go ahead and... I'm actually going to discard that. I get to go ahead and plus this here. And then block this other one. Scavenging Ooze is just an A+ magic card. This card is so very, very good. I kind of want a third green source, but I also don't really want to continue flooding, so I think I'm going to bottom that forest. There's a picture of the deck list that we're playing today in the donation queue as always. I think Alpine Moon's a great card and does exactly what it was designed to do. Alpine Moon is not, however, a one-card win-the-game card. It is not Stony Silence. If you want the updated version of the Blue-White Cannon deck that we're going to be playing in the league after this one, it's on the donation queue. What do we got, opponent? There are a lot of really awesome articles written about KCI in a lot of different places. I'd recommend checking one of them out. Could slot into this deck. Why? Okay, so... what problem does this deck have, and how are you solving it by making the change you're suggesting? That is always how you want to approach every single change you make to any deck ever in Magic the Gathering. What problem does this deck have, and how am I fixing that problem by making this change I want to make? So, if you can answer that question for me, maybe that's a good reason to add Remand to the deck. But if you can't answer that question, you should reconsider why this is a good change. My article on Gathering Magic this week will go up on Wednesday, and I'm going to be talking about Blue-Red Fae versus Blue-Black Fae versus Grixis versus Sultai, all the different various decks that we've played on stream. I'm going to be talking about on my Wednesday article on Gathering Magic. I know you're saying that is a joke, Eldorte, but that's how a lot of people approach deck building. They just, like, close their eyes and, like, add cards they want to add at random to decks a lot of the time. It's really annoying. As someone who works and tunes a lot of decks, people just like needlessly add and change things. Let's see if they have another Bushwhacker here. They do not. I'm going to crack this clue and then bolt this. Yep, flip JCMC is 2. Flame of Keld. That's kind of scary. I want to just cast Serum Visions again here. I really want to draw to a threat. It's not quite bad enough against Modern's aggressive curve, so we should add more cards to do that, right? Figured. I think I just want to mana leak their stuff. He's dead, Jim. Our deck doesn't have a way to gain health, so I just want to, like, be conservative with my health total here. So, like, keep it as high as possible, I think. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Can we talk about my buddy Tireless Tracker and how great he is? Yeah, that's true. We've gotten pretty far against this in this matchup, and we're not dead to Goblin Grenade just yet. All right. Well, they've got their source of card advantage too. JK chat. Did you want your card advantage? That's too bad. Engineered Explosives is just such a good magic card. This is my friend the Tarmogoyf. It's a 6/7. Now Kith. Now Kith. They're dead next turn, right? They're going to 15. I'm going to attack them for 12 and then kill them. This is our second league of the day. We started with Blue Blackmail. We start, I start at 9 a.m. on Mondays and Mondays and Fridays I start earlier. Mana Leak and Clique are pretty bad. Baloth, Anger, Extra Removal are good. This is probably even a roast matchup that's fine. Do I want to trim copies of Serum Vision or Thought Scour? Possibly. Do I want to trim copies of... I kind of like Scour. I'm going to trim 2 of these. I like Scour because fast 2D is important. No, I think Wet Ball's too slow and clunky. Also keep in mind that Wet Ball is symmetrical, which means that our deck is also often looking to cast multiple spells in the turn, so it's going to slow us down as well. The answer to why not just play Temur Delver is why not just play Grixis Death Shadow? Like, you can do that for every tier 2 and tier 3 deck in Modern. Why not just play the good deck? Why not just play the one that's more popular? Because people like playing different things. Modern's a format that enables people to play cards that they're interested in playing because they like playing them. And that's okay. They mulligan to 5. I'm going to keep this. Dig for some green mana here. The fact that none of these lands make green is a little awkward. Perfect. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we about to die. We about to die. Oh no, it's like the Nut Draw 5. Is the last one the Bushwhacker? It's not the Nut Draw. Whew! Whew! Dodge the Nut Draw. Looking for Tarmogoyf for Anger of the Gods. Alright, we binned a Bolt and drew a Jace Vryn's Prodigy, so that's pretty decent. We're taking 3 down to 17 here. Conveniently, our lands aren't kept 2 Jaces in our deck. Drew both of them. Good stuff. The thing that makes Modern such a good format is the fact that the decks that are great in Modern aren't that much better than these other decks that are very interesting to play. The power level of Modern, unlike formats like Legacy and Standard, where the best decks tend to be much better than the rest of them, is that it's pretty flat. I am snapping off this trade here. Not close. This is a matchup where we just want the game to go long. And going along, like, I'm a little bit sad since I drew this Engineered Explosives here, but, like, I get to go to 13 here with the 4/4 in play, just like King of the Castle. King of the Castle, King of the Castle. Get him, get him, get him. My 4/4 for 4 is a god among men on this board. This is my 4/4. My 4/4 is amazing. They have a Lightning Bolt to finish this off. Deal. Deal. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play one of these out aggressively on one, I think. Just like use my mana efficiently here. There might be merit to holding this so I could loot away this land, but I think that's fine. Alright, so we're gonna lose my Jace, but I'm pretty sure I want to engineer explosives and kill this here. It's a real shame this doesn't work how I want it to work. I'm gonna cantrip this Jace here. Pretty sure we, like, just can't lose this game if I take their Flame of Keld off the table here. It's their way to claw back in. So, we lose our Jace doing this, but I think this is ideal for us. I'm gonna hold this in my hand because we have a bunch of trackers in our deck still. I mean, is Huntmaster good against the aggressive decks? The body it provides for the cost that it has is very weak. Correct. They updated the flipped rules card. So flipped cards now have the converted mana cost of their front side when they are flipped to the back. Not cracking this because Tireless Tracker. We're at 17 and have 6 lands in play, and they have no board versus our 4/4, so we'd be in a pretty good spot. Baloth is very good against these aggressive decks. I think this card is better than Huntmaster because this card doesn't die to their red removal, and it beats most of their cards in combat. This card's also very good to board it against Hollowed One because screw Burning Inquiry. Hey, look at that, another 4/4. Huntmaster doesn't see a lot of play because it's a 4-mana card that dies to Lightning Bolt. And while the upside is high when it lives, lots of cards that you can play in Modern have a high upside when they live. Sweet, sweet. 1-1 after a tough loss to Spirits. And then up against 8 whack there. Slow and steady, slow and steady. Yeah, 4-mana Jace. Here, chat. Remember when you talk about 4-mana cards in Modern that Jace the Mind Sculptor isn't good in this format? By and large, not powerful enough. And that's a big deal. Should Horizon Cannon be called Event Horizon? It's a good question, Burgle. Oh, sorry, that was Burgle. I misread that there for a second. This hand's probably fine. Say it again for the people in the back. Jace isn't good enough for Modern. I think Roast is a necessary evil if you're playing a deck like this. I think you could make a strong argument that you should just play 2 Abrades in the main deck and not main deck any Roast, but I think playing some Roasts is very necessary. Yeah, Norman, I feel like it's fair game to sneak in decks like Temur and Sultai on Meme Mondays because these archetypes are more memes than anything. If we can play Hoots Magoots on 3 here, we could end up in an okay spot. Power level of Magic cards is not absolute. The power level of a Magic card is contextual inside of the format that it is being played in. The context of Jace the Mind Sculptor in Modern is that Jace the Mind Sculptor is not good. Modern is a format about board presence and tempo, and Jace the Mind Sculptor does not do any of those things. Scavenging Ooze, that's interesting. Fetch land, fetch land. Thought Scour, yeah, Dark Ritual. Yeah, Dark Ritual. Alright, so I think I'm bidding the Clique here. Do I bid the Clique or the Serum Visions? I think it's the Clique. I think it's the Clique. And then I get to scour myself and then play this tapped and play Hootie. It's kind of sad that I need to exile my whole yard here, but I definitely don't want to take damage this turn. If they have a land Searing Blaze, I'm going to be a little bit sad, but we could be in an okay spot otherwise. The blue-white Belcher deck's a real treat. If you didn't see it last week, you're in for something great this week. And the build we have today is definitely much better than what we played last week, so that's exciting as well. Nah, I think I'd rather get Scavenging Ooze going next turn, just like maximize my health gain ASAP. I did cut the Stony Silences. Things I managed to do. This is 3, 7. We're going to 6 here. You have a Rift Bolt to suspend. Good chance we're dead next turn. I don't need to bolt anything because I have plenty of blockers here. We're going to 7. We're only going to 7 though, and they have a Rift Bolt in exile, and they have 3 cards in their hand, and they've been missing land drops. So like, I assume we're dead here, unless their hand is like 4x Lightning Helix or Eidolon or something like that. If they have infinite Eidolons, we could potentially be okay here, but very real chance we're dead. Statistically speaking, we are lit up. Burn is the best deck in Modern when it only draws 2 lands like that, and it is not particularly close. It's the best deck in the format with draws like that, and it is not particularly close. How do you feel about this? I kind of like this. 3 lands is marginally better. It seems every time I tune into, you're playing against 8-Whack or Burn. I feel like you're playing against these decks disproportionate to say what you might see the SCG with G2 numbers. Do you agree, or am I small sample sizing? I think you're actually small sample sizing, Burgle. I actually feel like we play against Tron the most on Magic Online. That could also be like memory bias too. I definitely think there's probably... No, I don't even know if that's true. I think these decks see a lot of play in both of these events. They just don't do well consistently. I really don't like cards like Anger of the Gods and Engineered Explosives in these matchups, because I'd rather have Roast before I play those cards, basically, is what it comes down to. Some Roasts are probably okay here. Like, this many Jaces is probably too slow. Let's try this. I mean, our deck has a bunch of Prime Searing Blaze targets in it, so like we're not blanking that card. Why should this deck play Bloodbraid Elf? What problem does this deck have that you're attempting to solve by adding Bloodbraid Elf to it? Average Toaster with the brand new Twitch Prime support. Thank you very much and welcome. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Trying to solve the lack of clunk factor. Yep. It never fails that whenever we play a mid-range deck, or any deck really on stream, Twitch chat is always going to suggest that we add a bunch of 3, 4, and 5 mana cards to it. They will not be pleased until our deck has the maximum amount of 3, 4, and 5 mana cards in it. Nice, Toaster. Yeah, the Death Shadow matchup's probably pretty hard for that deck. You just don't really have good ways to answer things. You could play something like Melodies, but that's pretty narrow even. Aggressive bottom here since we drew this Baloth. I just want another green source. I'm actually, one of the reasons I'm looking forward to a new non-rotating Magic format is that I hope when we get a new non-rotating Magic format, at least for a while, it's clunkier and we get to play more dirtily things like that, because Modern is not a format that's kind to playing dirtily decks. It's just not, as much as it hurts me to say. As much as I love playing them, this is not a format that's kind to playing decks like that. Yeah, whatever the new non-rotating format is, it better not involve 1-mana discard spells like those. Like Duresses and Despise, those are great. Get the Thought Seizes and Inquisitions, let's get those out of here. Yeah, Standard has Dirtle decks, but some people don't like playing rotating formats. There's something to be said about being able to take a deck and play it and always be able to play the deck that you enjoy playing. Keeping up with Standard is a lot of work. Having a deck that I know is always going to be legal in a format that I enjoy playing is nice. Bearded Coffee Man with the 5-month resubscription. Thank you very much and welcome. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Thanks for re-upping. Searing Blood is brutal. It's possible I should have just left up Mana Leak there. I don't know, it's close. They're down to 1 card in hand too, so we just like find a green source. We're going to be in an absurd spot. Just like that one. Syrupy Boy with the 14 months. Thank you very much and welcome back. Cyman, yeah, actually, I was just talking last night with people about things I plan to change on my YouTube channel. And moving forward in my YouTube video descriptions, I'm going to be pasting timestamp links to where all of the matches start in that given video, as well as the Stream Decker link for the deck that we played. So that way people can have nice mouse over previews. Yeah, that too, Whiskey Dingo. Like, that was a deck that I played forever ago, and I got to revisit it because I really like it. Feels like it's pretty close to a concession, Baloth, right? This card, again, just like, I love this card in Modern right now. It's very, very good. Just does a lot in a lot of different matchups. Pro tip. If you only play terrible decks, WotC will never ban your deck. It's your fault that your deck got banned because you picked a good one. Speaking as someone who has never had their Modern deck of choice banned, you have control over your deck getting banned. WotC's never been... Exactly. The people's can't... Correct. Yeah, Tef's Chuckwagon is A-okay. I did not play Birthing Pod. When Birthing Pod was legal, I was playing Blue-Red Delver. Nope. Never registered Birthing Pod in a sanctioned tournament. I think I'm happy with how we boarded. Jace is pretty meaty. I'm going to bring another roast in. Can you remind Coach Berg to get back to work? Coach Berg, get off your posterior. Get back to work. Thanks for the 9-month resubscription, Carmenova. I appreciate it. Welcome back. No, the blue-red Delver deck with Treasure Cruise is fundamentally different than the blue-red Delver deck with Spellstutter Sprite that I've been playing. The blue-red Treasure Cruise deck was like a Xerox deck, and this one, the other one's a counterburn deck. The blue-red Treasure Cruise deck wasn't a counterspell deck. I think this hand is keepable. It's not super exciting. I wish it had a bolt in it to be perfect, but it's definitely hard to pass up turn 2 Goyf, turn 4 Baloth. Xerox is a magic term that refers to decks that kind of turbo cycle through themselves. They play a bunch of cantrips. I'm going to fetch Stomping Ground on one here, I think. I feel like that's something that comes up enough. If a mod wants to look up the term Xerox on like Game Encyclopedia and link it in chat as a bot command, that would be appreciated. Down to 12. Bolt. Another Scoos. I'm going to lead on Goyf. It dies to Bolt, which is a little bit sad, but I think that's fine. Alrighty. Well, Tarmogoyf just got upgraded to gain 2. I mean, we're not out of this game just yet. Like, these are Grizzly Oozes now, but, like, the Baloth gets to happen next turn to potentially lock the game up again. The real question here is, do I want to cash this in as a gain 2? I think I do. This card's so much better than Goblin Guide in some of these games. What's going on, Jeps? I'm going to play this and hold up Mana Leak this turn, because if I get Skull Cracked off this Baloth, we lose the game on the spot. And this way, I get to run the Scavenging Ooze block, Mana Leak your spell for prowess, and then untap and Baloth, hopefully free roll. And we want them to not have like Bolt or Lava Spike here. We want them to tap low so they can't crack me next turn. I am snapping off this block again here. This is going to encourage them to play a prowess spell to trigger prowess. Just gonna get my mana in here while they're getting us good. Stay at a nice healthy 9. Hopefully we're just a professional and draw our 1 Dispel we boarded in, so we get to Obstinate Baloth, Dispel, Skullcrack. Yeah, I'm pretty confident they're playing like they have a crack. If we draw another land, we probably just have to make them have it, though. Yeah, That's unfortunate. We're not just dead if they have it, but we're pretty close. Sweet. Alright, well, that worked out. That puts us in a good spot. Especially with this lighthouse to start churning through some cards. So, I'm pretty confident I want to loot here, but the question becomes, how do I want to tap my lands when I loot? I think I just want to leave Stomping Ground up here. Y'all ready for this 6 mana 4/4? Can you handle the power of my 6 mana 4/4? I'm not sure that you can. I'm not sure that you're ready for it. It does have trample, you're not wrong. Ooh, Merfolk Looter. What on earth? What is the bot doing? Please don't break the bot. Please don't break the bot. Don't break the bot, chat. I love the bot. He's been nothing but good to me. The bot has been nothing but good to me. Das pretty good, yeah. That's pretty good, yeah. I'm gonna hold up Negate rather than play this Jace Vryn's Prodigy out, I think. The bot got drunk with power when it realized it could time people out. Oh no! They definitely have draws here that could kill us. A combination of 4 cards. Burn spell? That technically qualifies. Wow. I was not planning to win that, but that's just like a good example of like why burn is bad. They had 6 lands and 18 cards. If you draw your 4th, 5th, 6th land with burn, you're gonna die. You're going to die. Makes it try to render the entire page into chat. That seems loose. All right. Well, we're 2-1 here after a close first loss to humans. Spirits is what I mean. Slow and steady. If Temur midrange is not your thing, we've got blue-white Charbelcher, green-red Warp World, Gristle Ooze, and possibly more coming up later today. Want another die roll? That seems okay. It is some Necrotic Ooze action. Burn is Schrodinger's modern deck, both the best and the worst. You're not wrong. That's a Ponza elf, huh? Now I'm going to hold up Mana Leak. I was going to Abrade this, which is why I fetched Steam Vents instead of Breeding Pool there, but now I'm just going to hold up Mana Leak. I think our deck on average is actually pretty good against, Blood Moon and stuff like that, but this draw definitely is not. Ponza Claws sent in as Ponza Elf. Boppy needs a land. And we're dead. If we could have gotten 5/6s into play, we'd be in a pretty good spot here, but I'm assuming we're going to get Blood Moon or Stone Rain to just die in a blaze here. We did end up winning the bird matchup. Oh, it's just a Bloodbraid Elf. This is going to cascade into one of the things that makes me concede. Nope, not yet. All right, well, if we hit a green source next turn, we're actually in a pretty reasonable spot. We get to like stick a fat boy into play and kill their tracker to cut off their card advantage. Okie doke. This means even if they Blood Moon us, we get to continue playing Fat Tarmogoyf, which is great. Yeah, the frame on the promo Abrade leaves a lot to be desired. Thought Scour going to work. What is this emote and why? Yeah, the diaper change emote I could probably get rid of at this point. That harkens back to when I was playing Streamer Dad. All right, this could very well be one of those Ponza games where we just get to go ahead and like play our things and like beat them to death with giant cards they can't handle. I think I want to hold on to this land for now. Or do they have a Bolt here too? They do. Okay. That's unfortunate. I held this land because I want to make a clue for it with Tireless Tracker. I'm about to get Inferno Titaned, huh? Yep. Opponent's deck is a big part of the reason why mid-range decks like this are not good. Ponza is not good against big mana decks by and large. It's good against punishing mid-range decks like what we're playing. I guess I get to bring in Anger. Yeah, I could have taken a draw step, sure. I think Clique's actually pretty good here. I guess it's not good because it makes me want to move into blue. Do I want to just trim blue cards in general? It's possible I want to just trim blue cards in general. Yeah, I think double blue's probably a little ambitious. Whoop. Everything else is single color except for Anger, which is easy to cast under Blood Moon. Yep, Miss Ann gets to fetch her basics. Dropping back in to say hi, back to work. What's going on, Interonics? Thanks for the biddies. I think I want to fetch a basic island and Thought Scour on one here, even if they play an elf. I mean, I assume Anoronics has to actually work. He has to pay for all the bits somehow. Bits don't just grow on trees, people. Kids these days think bits just grow on trees. Bits grow on ads, not trees. Fair. Hoping to pick up another land. Ding. I'm gonna grab a Stomping Ground here. Jam the Scoos. Fresh, crisp bits right off the vine. Thanks for the bits, Torculator. I appreciate it. All hail Hoaglandia, 27 months going strong. Thanks for streaming. Thanks for watching and thanks for the support, Aaron. 27 months? Gosh, that's so long. That's almost an entire Declan. Almost an entire Declan. Am I dead yet? We got 2 draws at red mana. We got 2 draws at red mana. Do 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 do. We are very dead now. I always love playing decks like Jeskai Ascendancy against Ponza. Just like feels real good to be on the opposite side of the matchup variance. Yeah, we're 2-2. See if we can dunk someone in the last match to become a real modern deck or not. Nah, not really, Mertz. Like, modern, if I was playing standard or legacy, I'd appreciate that, I think. But as far as, like, modern goes, modern's a very random format. Modern's a format where there's lots of different decks that see lots of amounts of play. How does it feel knowing that you have people who have been fans of you longer than your kids have? My kids aren't very old, to be fair. There are lots of things that are older than my children. I wonder what our Storm matchup's like. Got a couple of wet balls on the board. Turn one Spirebluff definitely makes me think Storm. I've been sitting for a little bit. Let's stand up for this last match. Beginning of the next league. Thanks everyone for hanging out today. We got some blue-white Charbelcher and some green-red Warp World coming up after this one. Do I think the blue-red Delver list is good against Ponza? It's probably okay. I think you have draws where they can keep you off of blue. My 2-color partially red deck probably doesn't have a perfect Ponza matchup, but it's probably better than some. Better than some, worse than others. No, not particularly. Pauper's not a very popular format. I've tried making Pauper content several times in the past, and it's just less popular than both Legacy and Modern. Yeah, decks that get added with larger amounts of Democracy, Admiral Vortex get put into the queue at the appropriate portion. Sleight of Hand likely solidifies the fact that they're playing Storm. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why Pauper content isn't particularly popular, but unfortunately at the end of the day the fact is just like it's not popular, so it doesn't make for good content for someone that's trying to make their living making Magic content. No, I think I want to Scoos. Oh, you know what? I should have played a fetch land though, because that way I could Scoos and hold up Lightning Bolt. Yeah, I definitely should have played a fetch land instead of the Breeding Pool. I should have cast Scoos off of my 2 fast lands and played a fetch. By showing you the ins and the outs, I mean I'm about to die here. Ooh, am I not dying? That's really exciting. super exciting. I've basically come to the conclusion that my goal of keeping everything under 50 is just not going to be realistic. So I'm just playing as many decks as I can, as fast as I can, and whatever points they stay at, they stay at. I think keeping the queue at a smaller size is probably a more reasonable goal than anything. Just Scavenging Ooze isn't particularly powerful interaction in a matchup like this, but it's all we got, so we're just playing with the cards we've been dealt. Mean Spirits has always been a fringe deck in Modern. It will continue to be a fringe deck in Modern. Did someone just say Boda with that brand new tier 1 sub? Thank you very much and welcome. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Thanks for helping me stay employed here. Lightning Bolt was an A+ draw there. If I want to do a $100 donation, do I still use the form or do I just donate? If you just donate at Vortex. Keep in mind that Mondays have special rules, so if you're planning to cut right in and you want to be on top for today's streams, you need to make sure it qualifies as a meme. How can we improve the outfit? Asking the real questions. Just gonna keep their discard pile clear. Let's go ahead and fetch the last breeding pool out of our deck. And then we have a basic forest. We have a couple basic forests as other green sources as well. Capes, bandanas, sunglasses. Community here with all the wonderful suggestions as always. I didn't want to tracker last turn because I wanted to leave up a significant amount of ways to interact with their graveyard. The more ways I can interact with their graveyard, the less likely they are to be able to win the game. I don't know, Norman. That one, I feel like that might be a little bit too close to reasonable. I'm gonna fetch a basic forest here before this resolves, just so I have maximum amount of mana to interact with their graveyard. So we'll see. There's a non-zero chance that we die through this Scavenging Ooze here, but I'm hoping that's not the case. It really depends on what's in their hand and how this breaks down. That's true. If this could play Twin, it would not qualify as a meme. Although it would be interesting to see, would there be room in a Temur Twin deck for Tireless Tracker? Because that archetype already has a lot of 3s and 4s in it, right? The Piltro, thank you very much for the brand new Twitch Prime support. I appreciate it. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. And I thank you for supporting mine this month. Thanks for keeping me employed. You say Tracker is more of a 4-drop than a 3-drop. The answer is that it depends on the matchup that you're playing and the other cards you have in your hand. Which, that's one of the reasons why Tracker is so good. it's because it has all these different modes that it's possible for possible to work with. I think I just ditched the 2 win conditions here, right? How do we feel about that? I feel like we're supposed to ditch the win conditions. I got you, Nivik. Feel like this is a pretty important decision point. I feel like it's just ditch both the win cons. There isn't a Past in Flames up here. I'm pretty sure I want to ditch Empty and Grape Shot. I don't think I can beat the Empty the Warrens, chat. I'm gonna ditch the win cons. I think there's a chance that we die regardless of what we give them, but I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to give them win conditions. KM Draven, thanks for checking out Honey. I appreciate it. Welcome. Yeah, I don't think we can beat it. Like, if they have, like, a Ritual or a Manamorphose already in hand, the Empty just, like, puts us deep in the ground. Wait, no. So if their hand is like more rituals here plus like a Past in Flames, we could be in trouble, I guess. I don't know. I think there's a strong argument that we're in trouble regardless of what we give them here. So I should just focus on cutting them off of win conditions. And here I'm going to take Grape Shot and Manamorphose away. No, I've already burned 2 Lightning Bolts, so cracking a clue to take 1 shot at a 3rd Lightning Bolt seems really bad. I'd much rather just wait. They need a win condition in their hand. So like if they have a Grape Shot in hand, we could be in trouble, but if they don't have that, we're gonna be in an okay spot. They have a ton of mana here. Yeah, if they have Past in Flames, there's nothing we can really do about it. They have 1 of their 2 copies in their hand, which there's a very real chance that they do. Yeah, they have the Past in Flames. So they've stacked their graveyard very well here. We would need to get rid of. Maybe they don't have another win con in their deck. I'm pretty confident that they have a third Grape Shot they can go get here. They have Grape Shot, Empty in their discard pile. So I'm going to eat Grape Shot, I'm going to eat Grape Shot, I'm going to eat Empty. And then I'm pretty confident most of these decks play 3 Grape Shots in the main. But on the off chance they don't, I'm going to make them show it to us. Just we've come this far. No, we really don't have a chance to beat an Empty for 20 goblins. Well, there's no Angers in our main deck, so I concede when it's deterministic, but there's a chance that they've cut their 3rd Grape Shot for an Empty, so I'm gonna make them show me the last Grape Shot before I concede here. I'm not gonna make them like put all the triggers on the stack and stuff like that, but I'm gonna make them show me that they have the card in their deck. Oh, I do have 2 explosives, huh? I forgot about that. Maybe I was supposed to just take the Grape Shots and leave them empties. Yeah, I completely forgot about explosives. Did somebody just say, Boda, JAC fits the American onesie team if you want to join? Yeah, I'll see if they have another win con. Like I said, I'm going to make them show me the win con. We definitely wanted to take the Grape Shots. There's a chance I should have let them keep their other things, though. Because I forgot we had 2 explosives in our main deck. And, like, with the amount of extra draws we had, it looks like we were going to miss here. But I think because of the explosives in the main deck, I should have let them keep the empty. Burn is the worst matchup that JAC has, 0 forever. Not particularly close, worst matchup. So how do I want to sideboard here? I definitely want these 5 cards. I don't know if I want Roaster Abrade or not. Like, I still need 3 more cards to cut here. Is trimming some Tireless Trackers unreasonable? I feel like trimming some Trackers and then maybe even cantrips could be okay. I just don't have a ton of time to get this guy set up. Yeah, the Vryn's Prodigies have been pretty medium overall. Honestly, he's probably worse than Tracker. I'll leave a couple of Abrades in. What do we think of this? I think I like this. I want to do this. I don't think I want to bring in Anger for goblins. I think that's overboarding for the goblins. I think just keeping the explosives is fine. Maybe I want more. I don't know. It's tough because, like, Anger kills Art Clock too. I could definitely see trimming some of these cantrips and bringing Anger. I wouldn't be surprised if that content falls under fair use Bolas slaves and it's not worth enough to me to get a lawyer involved. Let's do this. Trimming some Serum Visions seems fine because the cantrips are bad with Damping Sphere. You can't just overload on removal, chat, because we need some amount of ways to actually kill them too. And at this point, if I want to fit more in, I have to cut more threats. I definitely don't want to go lower on threats. I did not, Gentle Giant. I submitted, right? I'm pretty sure I've submitted. Last time the clock ran out like this, I hadn't submitted. The mic was muted intentionally there. Needed to have a conversation with my wife. Sorry. I should say something when I'm going to do that. Apologies. Grab Stomping Ground here. And again, this is a moment where it seems appealing to stick the Damping Sphere, but you should just play the Tarmogoyf. We need to get our clock into play. We need to kill our opponent. We need to end the game as soon as possible. And not putting my clock into play this turn gives my opponent far more turns to get set up and kill us. So remember, Storm is a good deck in Modern because it can play through Disruption. The key to beating Storm is not just having Disruption, but it's having Disruption plus a clock. This is the 5th match with the Temur deck, though, so the Horizon Cannon deck's going to be coming up here real soon. He must be talking crap about us. You can safely assume that I was definitely talking crap about you specifically, Orcish Veteran. Land would be great here. We missed on the land, so we'll go ahead and abrade this and then crack them for 4. 4, right? This is a 4-5 now. And we could definitely die here. Opponent has good draws. We could definitely lose this turn. What's my personal favorite color combination? Green and black. Green and black. That's how I picked my Planeswalker frame. Alright, what do we got? Hopefully we hit a land here so we can play Damping Sphere plus still hold this Lightning Bolt up. Oh, geez. Admiral Vortex. I'm sorry. Did someone just say Boda with the sub? I completely missed it. Don't know if this counts as a meme, but I'd love KCI to kill itself with Hugeltron. Mono Blue Tron. Oh, Mono Blue Tron. Alright. Yeah, I think Mono Blue Tron quantifies for me Monday. I'll be happy to stick that one in there. I'm sorry, Admiral Vortex. Thank you for the very generous donation. It popped up, I think, while I was talking to Christy. I think that one will fit in there nicely. So Tef and his Chuck Wagon are going to have to take a quick moment. We're 2-2 in this league, but we're down a game against Storm here, though I think I messed up the first game, giving ourselves a little bit less outs than we could have had otherwise. Serum Vision says... I'm gonna bottom, Scoos, top of Forest, attack for 4 here. Alright, Nivik, you should be back. I'd like my timeout for donating Bluetron. I bottom Scavenging Ooze because my hand is already full of interactive cards. I don't really need another one. So Tef is going to get moved back. We're going to have time to get to Horizon Cannon today. We might not have time to get to Gristaloos. But we will definitely be playing Mono Blue Trod next, thanks to Admiral Vortex's very generous cut the line donation there. What did the pieces get? That's a good question. They took Serum Visions and Desperate Ritual, and they cast Visions here, so they have Desperate Ritual in their hand that we know about. Do. So they have to beat this Negate next turn, which hopefully won't be possible. What we got? What we got? Stop it. Just ordered a place at a Valakut the Molten Pinnacles time. My filthy hands out. I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded. I think I'm going to go ahead and just run it back. Just gonna go ahead and click submit. One more game separating us between crippling shame and defeat and being a real modern deck and being 3-2. Thanks everyone for hanging out. We're gonna have some Mono Blue Tron next and plenty of other fun to go around. one more game. If I donate 100 for Tef Cannon, it's next. That is true, they call me, Jeremy. If you send in the 100 for Tef Cannon, that puts it ahead of Mono Blutron. Fair is fair. We are going to guaranteed play both of those today. But if you really wanted Tef Cannon to be the very next deck, that is how the system works. Who am I to not take your money? Easy mulligan here. This hand's actually pretty okay. And with the second land, it's kind of perfect. Well, we don't have any counterspell-based disruption. We have turn 1 Thought Scour. Turn 2 bolt your creature plus play Hooting Mandrills is like very reasonable. We did have someone snipe in Blutron for the $100 cut the line donation. DJ Jedi Jeff, lucky number 7 for Meme Day. Thank you for the 7-month resubscription. Yeah, we'll probably play the vintage deck at some point. I need to figure out when. I need to figure out when I'm putting an evening stream this week. Usually I do vintage in the evenings. I'm not sure which night I'm going to do an evening stream. I might do Wednesday this week. Still trying to increase my devotion to Jeff and make them more memes than dreams. Happy Monday, you shilling magician. Thank you for the 3 months still in the water. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Welcome back. Capitalist pig. So probably want to fetch shock on both of these lands. And I probably want both of them to be red mana, right? Because I want to be able to cast Anger of the Gods should I draw it. This puts 4 cards in my bin. This puts a 5th card in my bin. And then I can hold up Lightning Bolt / Thought Scour here. 100 to put Tef next. Thank you for the bits, Jeremy. Jeff is just keeping up with them, right? Do you have any articles about improving sideboarding? I generally know what to bring in, but I have a hard time deciding what to remove. If you're having a hard time cutting cards in a deck that you've built especially, generally that means your deck isn't built well. A well-built deck is going to have things that have very obvious cuts in matches that are important to you. Yeah, I ended up bringing in Anger just because these decks usually beat decks like what we're playing with Goblins, so like having max out to Goblins felt like it just made sense. I mean, with the Thought Scours, it really doesn't impact it that much, right? Like, we just delved our entire graveyard, and like, this is still a 4/5 here. So, feels pretty reasonable. I get to go ahead and crack them for 4 here, and then play this Tarmogoyf while still holding up Lightning Bolt, so I feel like we're in a pretty okay spot here. Yeah, definitely. Like, a lot of the time, these Tarmogoyf decks really feel like they lack closing power when they don't draw Tarmogoyf. So Hooting Mandrills just slots in really cleanly, especially with Thought Scour, to just, like, be an extra threat to kill my opponent when we don't have Tarmogoyf drawn. Or, in addition to Tarmogoyf in games like this. If they go off this turn with Goblins, we've got them covered with the Anger of the Gods. If they're going off with not Goblins, hopefully they can't beat this Lightning Bolt. So we know they have 2 rituals. Bolt this in response. And now they can go like ritual, Manamorphose rituals in response to this to generate more mana, but we definitely want to kill this Boral. They have a remand, okay? So they get to do their thing, and we just like cross our fingers and hope not to die. You told me not to play Dredge at Barcelona. Look, you should always follow your heart in Modern, but there's definitely some decks that are better than others. Please be Goblins. Please be Goblins. And anyway, thank you for the 2 months, Def Fangirl. Welcome back. That's a Past in Flames, which that's deterministic, right? Because they have Manamorphose Gifts Ungiven. Yeah, it's going to be deterministic. Good games, opponent. I think if there's a Delver Temur deck, it's not a different version of this deck, it's a different deck. And I don't really have any thoughts on it, because I haven't seen it or played with it. Yeah, this deck was kind of clunky and awkward. The reason why Temur was a fair deck that got slotted into today was because Temur's a lot like Sultai in Modern in that the power level it has and the flexibilities of its answers just like really aren't quite there in Modern. As much as I wanted Thought Scour and Jace to be okay, this just isn't a very good card in Modern. Modern's not a format about grindy card selection and like flashing back multiple things. And that's what this card does. It's really kind of a grindy card. It's a format that's about tempo and being more aggressive. And I definitely think it doesn't really, kind of falls a little bit short there in those ways. Mill is great, and Temur is medium.